Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. Happy Thursday. We're almost to the end of another week. Here we go. I don't usually wear the old polo shirt, but I found this in the, when you find something in the bottom of your cupboard dresser and you're like, oh, that's where that went. So I thought, I wear it. I don't usually wear Arsenal swag on the show. And here I am wearing it. Good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing? Hello, squaddies. What's happening? Thank you, Taib. Always as sweet as ever. You're a little salty sometimes too, but we like that. Hello, Sean. How are you? Good evening, Jermaine. Welcome to the show. Richard, hello. How are you, mate? Hope all is well. Good evening to everyone who's joined us. That was a little accident in the kitchen. Don't worry about that. The good news is I'm going to have crab cakes and halibut and spinach after today's program. So I'm doing my best to keep my athletic side up. What are you guys doing? Do you guys work out, by the way? Are you worker-outers or are you just eaters? Do you worry about any of that? And now I'm going to add my podcast brother from another mother who's having some technical difficulties tonight. Kev, are there gremlins out there? Are the aliens coming to take us once and for all?
I'll tell you what, I think they're here. I'll be honest with you. I've just been waiting in the background on my computer.
Yep, I can see it. It's not connected. It says
not connecting. Yeah, it's not connecting. It's playing silly, but no loyalty. You see, no loyalty.
No loyalty from our Macs, from our technology. Zero loyalty. This is 100% true. This is the football loyalty show, and I'm really excited for this one because just wanted to kind of deviate a little from the Euros. We'll do some England v Scotland predictions at the end of the show, of course. But I was just asking everyone, Kev, before they came on, because there was a big crash and bang in the kitchen. It wasn't Vinny. It wasn't. Oh, you heard it. It wasn't Vinny or Vesper. It was Tony. But the good news is after this, I was telling the squaddies, I'm going to have a lovely steamed halibut and some spinach, maybe a crab cake on the side. And I was asking the squaddies if they work out. And I was thinking if they don't, you might broke some necks if they're not working out.
As you can see on the name, K broke the neck C. So listen, I think even if you don't work out, it's important to get a little bit of exercise, even go for a walk.
Yeah.
Just to get your head clear. Because it's been tough times.
Yeah, exactly. It all helps, doesn't it? Good evening, Johnny. Saying hi to everyone, Kev. And Raul thinks you might be in Area 51 with all the nonsense going on with your equipment and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Manchester is quite like Area 51 at the moment. It's been crazy. It's been playing up all day, up and down. 1 minute it's in, next minute it's out. It's been crazy.
Is it still warm there, Kev?
It was lovely here. It was a lovely day here, very warm. It's very humid, which is quite shocking for England, but it's nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, very cool. Gunner Forever, I love this advice. Is your Wi-Fi on your laptop? If not, reboot the laptop. Always works. I think he's done that. I love it. Alpha. So epic, though. Come on. Gotta love the squaddies.
I've done that about 18 times throughout the day.
And don't worry, Dazza boy, welcome to the show. Your ankle will be in good stead soon and you'll be able to get back to your walking and your exercising as well. Right. I sent Kev a note this morning because I've been really intrigued, and this episode is spawned by the Sergio Ramos situation and him. I don't even know if it's a situation. To me, it would be if I was Sergio Ramos, but Kev's going to help me with this one. He's covered La Liga all season. He's seen the man play. And I don't care what you say or how you feel about Sergio Ramos. For me, he is one of the greatest players to ever play in the modern day game. I think he's got, is it 22 or 24 trophies? I don't know. You guys can correct me. Is it 24, Kev? Yeah. And I was thinking about this a lot because he wanted a 2-year deal at Real Madrid. And we're going to get onto the Arsenal and Arsenal players and managers and fans in just a second. But I really wanted Kev's take on this. There's so many times, Kev, where players are called greedy and selfish. And in some cases, you could say that's true. But I also say, haven't we all left our jobs to go to companies that pay us more money or give us better perks? I think we've all done that in our careers, even if we're not athletes and even if we haven't played football. From my understanding, Ramos wanted a 2-year deal. Real Madrid only wanted to offer one. And today Ramos has actually said that he was willing to accept the one, but it was rescinded or it expired. So I just think, I know that he was paid handsomely at Real Madrid, but he put his body on the line for that team over and over again. And to play at that level for Real Madrid the way he has done has come with great sacrifice, Super Kev. He is a legacy player, and I think legacy players deserve different treatment. There's Ramos.
No way, Sophie. No way. You can't say that now. When you need it, you said you want everybody to be treated the same.
No, that's when you're coming through the ranks. That's when you're trying to get a spot. And you explained that to me. And we had a great conversation about that because you're like, who am I going to muscle out of a position? Alan Smith? There was no rotation then, right?
Yeah, but one of your criticisms this season has been the manager has treated players differently.
No, he has treated players differently. That's correct. But legacy players are different, Kev.
Why?
Because... Okay, are you telling me that Francesco Totti, Ryan Giggs, Steven Gerrard, Tony Adams, Paolo Maldini, Carlos Puyo, Paul Scholes, John Terry, those players deserve a little bit extra? They are legacy players. They've been at the club. A lot of them have been at those clubs since they were kids. A lot of them have stayed loyal. They're a one-club team. I'm just saying.
Ramos was bought.
Well, he's a Sevilla boy. Yes.
But all I'm doing is setting the stage for our talk, because when you say legacy players, of course, huge players, fantastic players, blah blah blah. But the fact of the matter is, they're all employees. They're all paid by the club. You're only an employee.
Yes, I'm coming to that. So my point.
Sorry.
Right. So my point is Tony Adams. Okay. I completely agreed with your point when you said to me, well, hold on a second, the Tony Adams of the world, and then you can even go fast forward to Bergkamp and Thierry Henry, or go back to when you were trying to break through. Rotation, KC, it wasn't as easy for you. There wasn't one team for the FA Cup, one for the League Cup, one for the league. It was a squad generally, and some 4 or 5 additional players, right? So my point with this isn't, I'm not backtracking at all. I'm saying that I think someone like Ramos deserves a little bit better. Give him the 2-year deal. What is the big deal about giving him the 2-year deal? And then I say a lot of the times we pick on players, because they're not loyal or because they're hungry for money and because they go elsewhere. And we're going to get all into that. But initially, the reason why I messaged you this morning when we were having our convo was this. Sergio Ramos should finish his career at Real Madrid. But that's the romantic side of me. But modern football doesn't work that way, Kevin.
No, it doesn't. And look, I think both the club have been good to Ramos and Ramos has been good to the club. And unfortunately, these things sometimes has a very difficult end, because Ramos wanted 2 years. The club offered a year. Ramos has held out and held out and held out and held out and held out. The difficult part is this, Sophie. The financial landscape has changed. It's not the same anymore. It is not the same. And you would think, they'll bend over backwards for the luxury. No, they've got a new manager. They need to change, because Ramos is not the future. He isn't. He's not the future. So the fact he wants 2 years is nice and will fatten up his nice retirement. But Real Madrid have to think logically now. And unfortunately, the experienced players, like a Ramos, who is, let's be honest, he's the wrong side of 30. He's starting to pick up good few injuries this season and stuff. He should have took their hand off when they offered him 1 year, if I'm honest with you.
I get all that. But when you look at what he's done for the club, how he's represented them, I know that this is a ruthless business. There just seems to be some players that, what's it going to do to Real Madrid if they just give him an extra year, 2 years? Yes, there's young players coming through, Kev. But look, Spain, he didn't even get called up for the Spain team. And I know he's had an injury and stuff like that. I just think that sometimes, by the way, I would take Ramos in a heartbeat. I think sometimes sports, and we see it a lot in the NFL. What have you done for me this season? Next season, the team can be completely different. A Super Bowl winning team could be completely different the following season. We've won. We're going to reboot. We're going to move on. NBA, same thing. There's a lot of moving parts. Football's become that a lot. It used to be you knew the team, you knew the players. And I'm not saying like I miss that, but what I'm saying is that the loyalty in football, and I'm going to switch to your old club, Everton, right? What does Rafa Benitez owe Liverpool? He owes them nothing.
What do you mean by what does he owe Liverpool? What's Liverpool got to?
I'm saying that Liverpool fans are up in arms if Rafa goes to Everton, right? How long has it been since Rafa Benitez was the manager of Everton Football Club?
Liverpool, you mean? Long time ago.
Liverpool. 10 plus years.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is when George Graham done the same thing, some Arsenal fans are up in arms.
Well, yes.
So let's have it right. You're not going to be able to please everybody, Sophie.
I've got him lined up, Kev.
Do you know what I mean? You're not gonna have everybody happy about a move, especially to your rivals. That's for sure. Now, listen, we hate the Spuds, and the Spuds hate us at the best of times. Let alone one of our most successful managers going to them and then winning a trophy there. I mean, you know, some Gunners fans, as you know, can never really forgive him for that. They accept him, but they can never really forgive him for doing that.
As an Arsenal fan, you played for the man. Do you forgive him as a fan that he did go to Tottenham? Do you understand the reasons why he went to Tottenham? Are you fast forwarded? Because I had him. He was on my, as you can see, I've got my pictures ready.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, something must be clicking. The internet's out, but I'm going good. I've got no problem. Listen, it's work at the end of the day, Sophie. The bottom line is, you're a manager and you've got to work. And at the end of the day, when it kind of come to me as a player, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But as a manager, it's different because there's only so many jobs you can go into.
Well, look,
do you know what I mean?
Seeing George Graham on this bench, and is that Stuart Houston with him?
Yeah, that's Stuart. He's number 2.
Yeah, he's number 2 right there. That was really painful. Okay. You know, Benitez has won the Europa League with Chelsea. He's won the Champions League with Liverpool. You know, he was vilified at Chelsea, but in the end, he delivered them a trophy as well. And I think Everton Football Club it'd be magic for them to get a manager like Rafa Benitez. So there's this juxtaposition with loyalty, right? It's like, what, Rafa doesn't owe Liverpool anything. He's looking for a job. Why not go to Everton? So this rivalry factor, I don't think there's been too many managers. I think if we go back in the day, Radomir Antic and Enrique Fernandez managed Real Madrid and Barcelona. Inzaghi, I think, managed Leonardo Inzaghi and Trapattoni managed Inter and AC Milan. So this whole notion, Kev, of loyalty in football. If you were at Everton, when you were at Everton, banging in the goals, if Liverpool came calling for you to play up front for them, what would you have done? I want you to take a...
No.
Really?
Yeah, no.
How do you...
It's different. What you got to understand is you're only as loyal as the club allow you to be. Because it's the club who set all the precedents. The clubs used to have so much power that even if you wanted to leave, they could hold your registration. Now it's a little bit different. Once you're under contract, if the club don't want to do business and sell you, you're going nowhere. So it's really the club who have the power. And trust me, if the club want you out, they will make life so difficult for you. You know they want me out. For instance, I'll give you an instance. We just got promotion back to the Premier League at Nottingham Forest. Me and Pierre Van Hooydonk were the highest goal scoring partnership in Europe.
That was amazing. What a partnership.
Looking to absolute come back into the Premier League and do really well. What happens? I get told I'm not going on the club tour, and the club have accepted a bid from a Turkish team, and it's in my best interest to speak to them.
See, no loyalty from the club to you.
There's no listen, you could forget loyalty. Fans are the loyal ones.
Right. And I want to get to that.
Fans are the loyal ones.
Right.
Because you support a club and you stick to the club. But when it comes to, remember, this is business now. And whereas back in the day, you made a good point, whereas it was a squad of maybe 16 players, players could be a lot more loyal there because there wasn't so many bodies. But now it's more of a business now. And the turnover of players and clubs, the amount of money that's involved, it's a business now. And players, you will see players come to a club and before you know it, they move from a club. Very rarely you see a player at a club for a long time.
Yeah. What did you think when Michael Thomas, thanks Take Me Back, reminding me of this one, Michael Thomas left us to go to Liverpool and now I see him cheering on Arsenal and celebrating 89 and stuff like that. It's a bit weird.
Why is it weird? Why?
Well, because I don't know. It just feels a little... You left Arsenal. You went to play for Liverpool. You scored the legendary goal.
Remember, he was successful at Arsenal. He came through the ranks at Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you got to... That's what you can't just say he was at Arsenal, then he went to Liverpool. Let's say he came through the ranks at Arsenal, was successful at Arsenal.
Well, he's a legend, really. I mean,
he's
a legend.
But these things happen, so these things happen because you know what? Things change at football clubs. Managers have different ideas moving forward, and you know, maybe the manager fancies somebody else. That's what happened with Mickey Thomas.
So, and similarly, I want you to take us into your experience at Arsenal as well, because Kev, is it fair for me to say you never really wanted to leave Arsenal, did you?
No, not at all. Listen, I wanted to be a one club man. Of course I did. But as I said, things change. And once George Graham went, George Graham was like a corner piece of that squad, of that team. And you were going to get some players who left. For 1 minute, I didn't think it would be me, Sophie. Not for 1 minute. But there was a lot of changes going on in the background. Stuart Houston took the reins. John Hartson came in, Chris Kiwomya, Glenn Helder. You know, there was some changes going on. So it was like that squad, that team was getting broken up. So got to the summer. Bruce Rioch took over. So I was out of contract. So I thought, great, I get to speak to the new manager, see where we're going. After about 2 minutes of talk, I knew
that wasn't the right thing for you.
Because it's business, Sophie. It's business. And if you believe that you're not going to get on with the manager, or the manager's not speaking to you in the right way that's going to inspire you, no.
Yeah. I kept this comment up here from Anik because it was the Michael Thomas comment as well about even though he left, it doesn't mean what he did for us is erased. I completely agree with that. And then someone was asking too about Sol Campbell, and we get to that. But I just want to stick with Kev's experience here for a second, because this is why in my write-up, you know, I was saying that when you're at a club for a while, I think we forget, and we're going to get to the fans eventually, because I do think that they're the loyal ones in the game. They love their club no matter who wears the shirt or who kisses. Where's the badge? Right here, Kev. There's the cannon right there. They're the ones that you know, even in this tumultuous time with the Cronkies, everyone's out buying the new away shirt. They love the club. They love their football team. And they'll always be the ones that are there, whether Bergkamp's playing or Thierry Henry. We're still standing in the stands singing songs and supporting our team. But I wanted to get it from your point of view and take us inside the mind of a player, because sometimes players are vilified for leaving clubs. And a lot of the times they really don't have the power to stay because they're being pushed to move on.
Yeah, but you see, and this is the old okie doke by the clubs. The clubs make it out that the player wants to leave. The fans are going to be loyal to the club, so automatically the fans believe what the club say. And the player, if the player comes out and says, "I didn't want to leave," what do you reckon the fans are going to say? So why didn't you stay? You know, you could have stayed, but he couldn't because the club were pushing him out. And we've seen it happen at Arsenal time after time after time. And the same scenario kicks in and kicks out. The player leaves and he gets vilified when he comes back. But it's the club pushing the boys out.
And, you know, we have, and we've seen it over and over again. And, you know, there was a question that just came up, someone asking Newman if Sol Campbell is a legend at Arsenal. I can't believe people are actually asking that question. He was a legend the minute he stepped over from the blue side to the red side of North London. Is it even a question when players go from, like, we've seen Luis Figo, right, Kev?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen these players go from one rival to another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely of the ilk that if you do great things at that club and you reach legendary status, I don't care where you came from, you're a legend at that club. That's why I asked you about Michael Thomas. I wanted the player perspective. You know, you went to the rival that we beat, but at the end of the day, it doesn't erase, like Anik said earlier, what he did at the Arsenal.
And it never will. That's the thing. It never will erase anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look at him and you think, I don't like seeing you in that shirt because I much prefer you in an Arsenal shirt. But some of the times people have to understand, sometimes Arsenal don't want you anymore. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard to take, but as a player, you have to be prepared for that. Sometimes it's not going to work out anymore at the club you love. So you have to make sure you can go somewhere and earn a living.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you still, like everyone else in life, you got a mortgage to pay, you got bills to pay, you got to earn a living, you got to think about your future, where you want to go.
There's a lot more than that. Listen, let me tell you something. When you're playing, the family grows.
Yep.
The family's a lot bigger.
Becomes more expensive.
The family's a lot bigger when you're playing.
Oh, man. Good evening to all of you joining us this evening. Thanks to everyone in chat. Get stuck in and let us know what you think about this conversation. I'm going to get to the Arsenal players in just a second. And I love hearing Kev's experience because not only is he an Arsenal fan, he got to play for the team, but eventually, you know, had to move on, then went to Everton, became a legend there as well. So getting inside the mind of a player on this loyalty factor, I think that, Kev, you know, I want to shift it because what manager-wise, even like we're talking about Rafa Benitez, his family still lives up north, not far from where you are.
They live on the Wirral,
yeah. I mean, he's never moved from there since he was let go by Liverpool as well, and they love living there. Yeah,
they love it. Absolutely love it. Love the area. So he's been in the area while he's been, you know, up at Newcastle in China. They've kept the family house, which is great. And listen, I'm not saying Rafa Benitez is not a capable manager because he is. He's proven it. He's done it, etc. So it's up to Everton what they do. You know, somebody wins the Champions League, UEFA Cup, he won the league. And don't forget, he's done great things at Valencia. Let's not. Do you know what? The job he done at Valencia was probably more impressive than Liverpool and Chelsea.
People forget that, Kev.
Yeah, because you see, people maybe don't study. Mm-hmm. But Rafa Benitez is a very, very capable coach.
So let's shift this a little bit to Arsenal, because one of the biggest, we talk about loyalty, and I think Ramos, we'll wrap that. Ramos has been loyal to Real Madrid. Maybe in the end, Real Madrid haven't been as loyal to him. In terms of managers, you're never going to see the Sir Alex Fergusons of the Wengers again, having 10 years that long, Kev. I think we both agree on that. I mean, look what has happened to Spurs since they've dumped Pochettino. Was it the right decision in the end? They showed him zero loyalty, and he helped put them back on the map and got them to a Champions League final. And to be quite honest with you, if these rumours of Gattuso are true, they absolutely deserve the insanity that will ensue with him at the helm.
He will roast Daniel Levy, trust me. He don't care, Gattuso.
Oh, these silver linings in the summer transfer window stories.
But doesn't the saying ring so true? Be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely, be careful.
Because you wish to be up there, you wish to be challenging, you wish to have a brand new stadium and all this kind of thing. But it's actually the running of the football club, and it's the decisions that get made that actually make the football club.
Right. Can we agree, Kev, that if Harry Kane does end up leaving Tottenham, and if he wants to leave Spurs, which he will, no one can argue with that. He's given them maybe his best years, to be quite honest with you, with these niggly injuries that he has. He's given Spurs everything and every opportunity to build a team around him, right? Same with Jack Grealish. Would you agree those two players, he's helped Aston Villa gain stability in the Premier League, and how can Villa fans argue if he wants to leave? Now, maybe they can build something with these players and this ambition that they have, but clearly with the players they're going after in midfield, it seems like Grealish is probably going to be moving on. But would you agree those two players, you can't argue with them wanting to move on to better things?
Well, I think Harry Kane for sure is a player who's put his lot in at Spurs, and he's England captain. Again, he's around players who have won bits. He's seen younger players come in who's won Champions Leagues and won league titles and cups and all that, and he's there. He's won nothing. So you get to that stage and you think to yourself, right, it's my time now. I've got to move on. I don't think a lot of the guys I know who are Spurs fans, etc. They listen. Harry's done fantastic for us, and we wish him well. You know what I mean? It's one of them. But Jack Grealish, I think, is a bit younger, and I seriously think the Villa fans will be a little bit more. Oh, we could probably keep him another season or two, because they believe they're building something at Villa, and he's a key part of that. But the timeline for other teams are not the same as Villa. The other teams don't have 2 years or 3 years to build. Other teams want it now.
Exactly. The instant gratification in football is a pandemic in itself. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to Arsenal players, because one of the things we Arsenal fans go back and forth about is, we love our players. We've loved seeing some of the greats, but when I was doing this show, it would be unfair to not highlight this player who left, who is nicknamed Robin Van Judas. Do you think Van Persie was a Judas leaving, or do you think, being a player, I've never really had this conversation with you about Robin Van Persie, Kev. He gave a lot of time to Arsenal. Clearly, the club, he could see where things were going. And my narrative here a little bit is I want to take you down this road of some of the players, because can you argue with some of the players who chose to leave Arsenal, especially seeing as they went on to win things? What's your take on him in particular? Because my goodness, did we not love Robin Van Persie? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one for the fans, because the loyalty that the fans showed and the club showed, because Robbie Van Persie suffered quite a bit of injuries at Arsenal, didn't he? And we nursed him back, and we looked after him, we protected him, and we know what a fantastic player he was. But there were times where he was out for long spells and he suffered. And as a football club, you expect he's one of the better players for sure. You want to keep him. But Arsenal, I think it was from the Ashley Cole situation, Arsenal, under the regime, had this way that they would just get rid of players. They would, and they'd be ruthless, and they wouldn't care if it affected the player and the fan relationship, because the club knew that the fans will back the club and not the player.
Mm-hmm.
But there's justification in all these players that left, them winning trophies. Now, maybe some of the fans don't think about this. They should be winning trophies for Arsenal. They all should have been winning trophies for Arsenal from Ashley Cole onwards. All of them should have been still at the club all together, with having a powerful team, having a powerful squad. But no, they're allowed to leave. Your Ashley Coles, your Samir Nasri's, your Adebayors, Van Persie, Fabregas, all of these guys, all of these players were allowed to leave. And the football club, I believe, held them out to dry. Because you got England international, Ashley Cole, for the sake of what, a few grand. Arsenal don't keep him. Come on. It's the football club.
Mm-hmm.
But the football club's loyalty isn't to the player.
No, it's not. It's not to the player, and it's to the dollar and the cent and the pound. And
well, it got more of a business.
Yes, it did.
And that's when it got more of a business, Soph.
Yeah. Well, look, I know you may hate him, Aaron, but the truth is that he is, for me, the best left back that's played in the Premier League, let alone, I mean, he's one of the best left backs of all time. Mm-hmm. And Kev, you can't argue with what he went on to win. Ashley Cole. He won the Premier League, the Champions League, the Europa League, and he won 4 FA Cups. And yes, he won at Arsenal as well. But what he went on to do, Robin Van Persie, he went on to win a Premier League. Cesc Fabregas, he went on to win La Liga, Copa del Rey, the Super Cup with Barcelona. He also won 2 Premier Leagues with Chelsea. I could go on and on. Nasri, 2 Premier Leagues, the League Cup. Alexis Sanchez. I mean,
Sophie, it boils down to one sentence. They moved to more ambitious teams. That's the sentence. They moved to more ambitious clubs.
Their loyalty is to their legacy, their own legacy, and the ability to win. Because at the end of the day, Kev, tell me this straight, because I don't believe for a second Alan Shearer can he's won the Premier League with Blackburn, but he there's no way he doesn't look back and says at some point, oh, if I join United, I'd have X, Y, and Z. Isn't it about winning, Kev? Is it?
Well, no, sometimes it's not, actually. And don't forget, he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to go to Manchester United. It's not as if he didn't. It was Manchester United or Newcastle United. And the draw for Newcastle, remember, he's a Newcastle boy. His family are there. The draw to do the business at Newcastle was more of a draw than Manchester United. Now, whether that's him thinking maybe I can't do it at Manchester United, I don't know. I doubt it. But at the end of the day, the draw to go with Kevin Keegan and Newcastle, because remember, they were really coming up then. So the draw to do that, he thought he could be successful up at Newcastle, where he's already got cult status. But, I mean, imagine if they'd have won a Premier League or even an FA Cup, which we undone for them. You know, if even a cup, the cult status would have turned to hysteria.
Completely agree with that part. So you often talk about the badge. I mean, Shearer to me doesn't seem the type of man or player that is intimidated by much. But you talk about the badge, and sometimes I get the draw of going home, but the allure, especially at the time, to play for Manchester United, and it's not just at the time, they are the most decorated, as well as Barcelona and Real Madrid. It's those three in Liverpool. They really have the brand of all brands when it comes to football clubs. These are truths. I mean, this is just the way it is, right, Kev?
Yeah.
But like Lukaku, he looked like a dog at Man United, but he's turning the world upside down at Inter Milan, and he's lighting the Euros on fire.
Yeah,
so
but you know what,
United weren't loyal to him, and the media were not loyal to him in any way, shape, or form either.
Sophie, Romelu Lukaku at Manchester United still scored a lot of goals. What they needed to do, simple, was work with him on the training ground. Whoever says you can't stop learning, you're always learning. Look at the player he is now with his link-up plays back to goal. He's improved so much. So why couldn't somebody at Manchester United say, you know what, we've got him in our building. Let's improve him. You improve him and you've got an absolutely world-class striker. Mm-hmm. He's scoring goals even though he's got flaws to his game. So why wouldn't somebody at Manchester United work with him? This is what drives me absolutely mad, Sophie. Mm-hmm. Man United haven't got a centre forward and they let Lukaku go. It makes no sense. But because it's business, all of a sudden, oh, is this, is that, is the other. He don't hold it up. He does, but he bangs the goals in. He scored 20-odd goals, etc. each season. But now, do you reckon if Lukaku was at Manchester United, they might have gone a lot closer like last season? I think they would have.
Well, I go back to what you say sometimes about as good as a player is. Like, look at Fernando Torres. You know, he was sensational at Liverpool and he went to Chelsea, and maybe in that instance it was for the dollar, right? I mean, they offered him a tremendous amount of money even at that time. Yeah, but and Liverpool accepted it, but also he felt he could win more with Chelsea than Liverpool, but it fell apart for him at Chelsea. Shevchenko managing the Ukraine here in the Euros, Kev. All these top players that. So with Lukaku, I don't know what it is. You'd think going to Man United, you know, it's a dream come true, but it was a bit too much. So in the end, though,
Sophie, if you have a striker and he scores 20-odd goals a season, how is it a bit too much?
Well, I'm saying it was a bit. So I think great point. Okay, you've got me in a you've nutmegged me right there. Okay.
No, I don't want to nutmeg you.
No, but I broke my neck. But you've nutmegged me, and it's true because I think what happened is United fans didn't appreciate him because he wasn't sophisticated looking, or he wasn't like that, you know, modern day player. I would love to. You and I did a show where we said who would win up front.
I take him now.
I take him yesterday, right? And I think the media were cruel to Lukaku at United. I think they did him a disservice in some ways because he was underappreciated. And sometimes there are players that actually do quite well, but they're underappreciated, you know.
Here's my point. You're working with the coaches and the manager day in, day out. That's my point. My point is you've got Romelu Lukaku in your building. He scores all these goals and he still needs work on his game. If we improve him, look at we could have him for the next 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they let him go. I just can't believe. I couldn't believe it.
It's really quite astounding. And I want to switch this up a little bit in terms of kind of how we're having the conversation, but I want to throw out some names in terms of players who left. Ospina, Clichy, Ramsey, the Ox, Gnabry, Giroud. Giroud's won the Europa League and Champions League since he left. Coquelin has won with Villarreal and Valencia. Diarra, do we remember? He won the FA Cup with Portsmouth, but he also won with PSG and Real Madrid as well. Hleb, even though he didn't play very well, he's still got it on his resume. He won the treble with Barcelona. Flamini won the Scudetto at AC Milan as well. Song won La Liga. Vermaelen won 4 La Ligas and 2 Copa del Reys. So I get why players leave, and you've talked about ambition. So I want to switch gears a little bit, Kev, with you. And good evening to all 200 plus of you in live chat. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Squaddies, Addies. With this said, and as much as I've been critical of Arteta, does he have any loyalty to Saliba? Does he have any loyalty to players that he inherited, Kev? Does he have the loyalty because the club's made the investment and it's a heavy investment? What do you think about that? New manager comes in, he's not my player, I don't want him. Is that fair or foul?
No, I don't think it quite works like that sometimes. Sometimes, I suppose, if the player isn't quite a prominent player, you could say, look, he's not going to be part of my plans type thing. But Saliba's a young man. He's a young man who, you know, Arteta had never seen him play, never seen him train. So it was always going to be a difficult one. And as a new manager, you're going to pin your hopes on an 18, 19-year-old centre-back. You're just not going to do that. Unfortunately, obviously there's things that's happened in Saliba's life. Sent him away to get some work done out in France. He's played sensationally, and he's come out and he said that he will get a chance. So again, all this hype that other teams are interested. Of course, they might be interested, but I can't see that happening. He's going to get a chance at Arsenal, and he's good enough. I believe he's good enough to make a difference in our team. But is Mikel Arteta loyal to? Listen, he's loyal to the guys who are going to get him across the line. Mm-hmm. So if Saliba's part of that, then he'll be real loyal to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I do, but you could tell that his loyalty was more to the players. You know, obviously Saka, ESR a little bit different. Tierney's just so good. He inherited Tierney, Gabriel, and Partey, his signings, Willian, his signing. You know, David Luiz, his signing. He was very loyal to Pepe. Had to prove himself.
That's right.
Wasn't his signing, right? So this loyalty kind of works from the club level to what they're doing and investing in the team and building around them, to managers, to players. And it could be on a big scale, Kev, but it can also be on this day-to-day where I've switched it back to you in the sense that Arteta has to be loyal to who he thinks he can trust. But at the end of the day, he also made mistakes, didn't he, by trusting Willian too long, too much?
Well, mistakes are going to get made whichever way you look at it, because when you have a bad season, you can do nothing but make mistakes because it's all about the team doing the business, Sophie, yeah? Mm-hmm. But here's the issue. Arsenal's recruitment and then getting a new manager, inexperienced, yes, but getting a new manager in, when you start changing managers, you start having a problem, because one manager brings certain players in, then the next manager brings certain players in, then now Arteta comes in. The first two managers who were there or whatever have bought players who haven't really done it. So do you then trust them, or do you get your own players who you think you're going to be able to trust? And that's what you do, because if you leave it today, you think, well, why would I trust them? I need to get my own guys. He gets his own guys in. Yeah, some went good, some went bad, some were indifferent. Totally get that. Mm-hmm. But he's got to work his way through that squad and work out who he can trust, who he can't, who's good enough. And unfortunately, Sophie, you don't get a lot of time in football anymore, especially for a new manager, novice manager. You're not going to get the time. People were shouting for his head, you know, after the way we performed earlier on in up to Christmas time. People are still saying he's not the answer. But we have to go with what we've got. Mm-hmm. We have to.
Okay, so we'll round this conversation up. We're 45 minutes in, Kev. Can you believe it?
Wow. I'll tell you what.
These ones, I love these kinds of
Are
shows.
the
Man.
aliens messing with the time?
I think they may be. I think maybe they're all waiting for your attorney, your lawyer, Esquire. They want you to put the Esquire after your name. But I think, look, guys, Kev's not defending Arteta here. I think it's a rounded conversation about. As a head of department, I go into a new job. I inherit a team. I'm going to assess them. If I think someone's a weak link, I'm not saying I want people to lose their livelihood. I'm not that ruthless. But if they don't step up, if they can't jump to the strategy that, I've been hired to implement and get results, you got to bring in your own people, Kevin. It works across all walks of life. So I get that part about him inheriting players that might not fit what he wants to do in order to succeed at the Arsenal. I think that's the difference, right?
And he inherited toxic dressing room.
Yeah, he did. There's no doubt about that. And it does, Johnny boy. Time really does fly when you're having fun. So let's circle this around then now to the fans. Kev, if there's any player out there in this universe who's played this beautiful game and has a great connection with fans, it's you. It's incredible. Not only on shows, but also when you're in person, the way you are with people, treat people. And I think you understand the fan because you are one. You grew up being one.
Yeah.
Talk to me I've talked about managers and the owners and the clubs and the players. At the end of the day, the loyal ones really truly are the fans, are they not, Kev?
The only loyalty are the fans. That's the only and clubs know this. Clubs know the fans are the loyal ones.
Lol, noob.
They do. Clubs know fans are the loyal ones. Clubs know they're going to bring out the new sexy top, new sexy jersey, new sexy hoodie, that the fans are going to buy it because you know what? It's your club. Mm-hmm. Arsenal Football Club is for the fans. That's why everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own mind. But the club know they can do that. The club could leverage on that, especially if it's, this new away top looks lovely.
Oh, it's sexy.
Fans are going to, because it's like a fashion statement. That's what, that bruised banana done back in the day.
Yeah.
The shirts were there, and then all of a sudden that bruised banana was a fashion statement because it was different. Now it's so important to have the latest fashions and the latest tops and all that kind of thing. You would think, they would say, we'll bring the prices down, at the football club. But unfortunately, the one constant that a football club can guarantee is the fan base, and they are the loyal ones. You might scream and shout and moan at times, but hey, inextricably linked through love.
So let's flip that a little bit too. And by the way, if you love the bruised banana shirt, hit the like button. If you hate Tottenham, hit the like button. If you love KC, hit that like button, baby.
If you're a squaddy, hit the like button.
10-4, Roger that. What do you think of the fans who maybe let's compartmentalize them a little bit before we hit the road and give our England-Scotland prediction, Kev? What do you think about fans like me who haven't gone to the extreme but have criticized Arteta? And what do you think about fans who bemoan everything? Do you think they're loyal? Do you think we're still loyal? Do you think we have every right to do that? I'm not going to put myself in the same bucket as some of the other moaners, but what do you think of those fans? Because someone wrote in chat earlier, right at the very top, can you please talk about fans' loyalty? And if in our criticism, we still have that chip. What's your sense on that, Kev?
Fans will always have an opinion. And for a fan might not agree with what the club are doing. And voicing your opinion is fine. Mm-hmm. That's look, we could have 10 people around the table in any walk of life. Not everybody around that table is going to agree on everything. That's kind of what Arsenal are. Arsenal are, we will agree on the manager, you won't agree on the manager. You like this player, you don't like this player, you want this change, you want the steps are too steep. You know, why couldn't we have a train station right outside the ground and the other side? You know what I mean? Moving to the Emirates, there's so many different things. But the one constant thing is, if a fan doesn't even go to the Emirates, they're interested in the football club, their loyalty to the football club is unquestioned. So I think it's very difficult to be able to say to someone, you can't say that about Arsenal Football Club. Well, why not? Why can't I say it? If I support Arsenal, why can't I say it?
Right.
You might not agree with it, but why can't I say it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, exactly. I agree. I think you have every right to, as long as, look, we don't like abuse and we don't like bullying, and we certainly don't like things that go to the extreme where we see terrible behavior, where, you know, other things. Yes, people get harmed, racism, any of that
personal,
type. Yeah, any of that stuff.
Attacks.
So that's what we don't agree with. But I think Arsenal fans in general are hurting because we've been so successful, Kevin, and we've been there. We've tasted the good life. We've stayed at the Four Seasons, and for the last few seasons in the Premier League, we've been staying at the roadside motel. You know, they don't do the towels on arrival, and there's not a fluffy bathrobe and slippers waiting for you. And I think we miss that.
There's no turn down service.
There's no turn down service. I want my chocolate on my pillow, damn it.
Exactly. You know, the swan at the end of the bed, you know, the towels as a swan, all that, you know, we've been used to all of the nice trimmings and trappings, you know, winning at our biggest rival stadiums and winning titles and, you know, feeling like royalty.
Yes.
But you know what? After midnight and the carriage turns into a pumpkin and all that kind of thing, you just want to reverse the time, or
Absolutely.
You want to speed the time up so you get that back. And unfortunately, this is the pain we have to go through.
Yeah. And Superflea says it well. We've been staying at the Heartbreak Hotel. Well, since my Arsenal left me, I found a new place to dwell.
Oh, yeah.
It's down in the Europa League. It's absolute hell.
Yeah, it's Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah.
And you know what? Us Gooners, we really suffered last season because you know what as well, so we then become the memes and the butts of jokes, whereas we were the ones giving it out before.
Yes.
We were the ones who had the great team and we'd slap teams up home and away
so
and not worry
fun.
about. We're confident in what's going out on that pitch. Now, who knows what's going to turn up? You know, we can't even do Burnley at home. What's going on?
No, can't do Villa, can't do Wolves. And GD wants us to stay at the Brockton Neck Hotel, Kev.
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Just really cool stuff. Okay. So a great discussion on loyalty. If you're listening to this on replay on YouTube, let us know what you think. I think we're going to do a little bit more of this during the summer as well, have these conversations.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of the times we want to point, it's a little bit like the conversation on Monday about, you know, pushing athletes and what we expect of them. And during COVID and, you know, it's been a really difficult time. Sometimes maybe we expect too much. And at the end of the day, they're human too. Like they have families, they have kids, they got to think about all that. And sometimes, Kev, you found out you were leaving, and before you knew it, you were in Turkey. Like within 5 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, I'm off to Turkey, I guess.
I'm looking forward to the Premier League. You know, playing in the Premier League next minute. My world gets turned upside down. That's the life of a footballer, I'm afraid. That's what can happen. What happens.
It's not easy. And you had kids at the time, didn't you, Kev? When you
no kids.
No, you didn't have them.
At the time,
okay,
no.
all right.
And, that's kind of a blessing because you imagine you got children, etc. Schooling, you know what? Well, I would have gone out there and seen what's going on because you know you got a wife. I was married at the time. It's difficult, very difficult for people with kids and upheaval. Not easy.
Yeah, not easy, not easy at all. All right, Kev, before we go, there's a big game tomorrow. England v Scotland in the Euros. Oh, man. Kieran Tierney looks like he might be starting for the Scots. Hope, please wrap him up in cotton wool, Scotland. Please keep him safe. Put bubble wrap, cotton wool, and then whatever it is they put in a shipping box, Kev, to keep a product safe. That's what I want out of this game. I don't want Kieran Tierney being injured.
Well, if he's not going to get injured, they have to leave him out. But I can't see it. I think he's going to play.
They have to play him. I mean, they need this. Kev, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
England going to batter him. Come on, England going to batter him. And listen, I'm saying Scotland have got a decent side. They have got a decent side with some decent players, but they can't score. So they can't score. So I think this one's going to go for England 2 or 3-0. To be honest. Pretty convincing.
You know, it's really weird. This is a derby.
MK 2-2. You better stop that. You better stop that, MK.
I love it. You know, this is a different beast, England v Scotland. We hate each other. There is no love lost here. You even heard Simon Jordan. I don't know if you guys heard it on TalkSport, talking to Jim White. He's like, I don't care about Scotland. I don't care about Wales. I have nothing to do with them. I don't give a toss if they win or lose. I mean, it was such a great convo because look what Wales did when England got knocked out by Iceland, Kev. They were celebrating in their dressing room. They loved it.
They loved it. They love it when we mess up. They love it when we fail. Listen, again, England have been the royalty for so many years, and then when we fail, everybody hammers us.
Yes,
part and parcel.
Yes. So, what's your score prediction, Kev?
As I say, I think it's going to be about 2 or 3-0. I'm going to go for the positive 3-0. Get battered.
Yeah. I might go for a 4-1. Earlier on in the show last week, I think I said to you, I fancy Scotland to get a point. After I also said to you, Turkey could be a real dark horse in this tournament, Kev. I'm switching gears. Yes, I'm flip-flopping.
Get positive. Get positive, SD. So, come on.
Brock the neck. Come on, England.
Get put on the positive track.
Would we like to see Saka get a bit, if it's a 3-1 situation, would we like to see Saka get a little bit of a taste of playing in a game like that, especially on home turf, Kev?
I think you will see Saka play tomorrow at some stage. Might not start, but I think he will. You will see him play. I think you will see Jack Grealish start as well. I think for Southgate, he's got to get as many players get minutes as he can because he's going to need them, especially in the second round, in the stuff. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. That's your lot for today. There's 200 plus of you in live chat. I've tried to get as many of your comments up as possible today and your predictions for England v Scotland tomorrow. Love shows like this. There'll be plenty more of this type of content coming throughout the summer, as I've said. Glad you enjoyed it, Rich, and hope all is well in your world, as we said earlier. Glad everyone's enjoyed it, Kev. You know, tomorrow I'm going to share something with you guys. You know, our very good friend Jags. I don't know if you guys, some of you all know Jags. He's a perennial winner on the football prizes stuff, and he lost his mum 3 months ago, Kev. And he did a skydive to raise money for the Heart Foundation. So I'm going to send a link I'm going to put it up tomorrow on the show, and hopefully I'll have a little video that we could show of Jags doing his skydive, or at least pictures. Brilliant. And just wanted all the squaddies, because I know that they love to have a little bit of a Jags banter and stuff like that. And, you know, he's doing well. He just smashed it. There's a video, Kev. I'm going to send it to you. And then tomorrow we'll share the link, and you can still donate money to the Heart Foundation. A really big topic, of course, this week as well, with everything that's happened with Christian Eriksen as well. So we just wanted to send out our love to Jags. And, you know, if there's ever something like that you guys want to share with us, let us know. And the Highbury squad will definitely do that. So, Super Kev, until tomorrow, you have something prepared for the squaddies, don't you? I've seen the videos.
Squaddies, at ease. Listen, Kev says tomorrow, short, sharp, but punchy. So get ready. It's going to be after the England-Scotland game. So hopefully with a win in our pocket, we can get down dirty about the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners!
Get in!